collection. So for the first thing, if you guys already have your pens, underline complete collection on population, and then underline all in that same sentence. Then for census, can you do the same thing just with collection and all? And this time you're also going to underline population. Lastly, for sample, underline sub-collection and population. So the reason why I asked you to do this if it isn't already obvious is because the population, and it says right there, the key, well, it's supposed to say the key word, this says the key word. The key word is all. So population is all that are being considered, but the census is a collection of all from the population, and then a sample is just like a little sub-collection from your population. Yeah.
So the whole population would be everybody in here, and the people that know how to do statistics would be sample?
Yeah, you could do that. Or you can say you could say that the population is all the MSJC
Students.
yeah, or the tutors, and you guys are the sample of the trainees. Any questions on that? Or comments?
How would the census relate to those two?
So the census would be like like how we said, everybody at MSJC. Or you could even do the census would be all the tutors on every single SJC campus.
So it's not not super specific, I guess, about what we're looking at. The sample would be more the most specific component of that, whereas the census is more like this big group, and then sample would be this section of that group.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself. So the population is everything that is being considered. So if we're talking about San Jacinto campus, tutors. So we'll do the tutors. The San Jacinto campus tutors, that's the population. The sample would be the tutors in training. Okay? And then the census would be all the tutors.
All the stuff that the tutors know?
Well, it's a collection of data, so like, you know,
Whatever the data is.
the data could be whether or not all the tutors at MSJC want to do the training. And then the sample would be all the tutors who do the training.
See, this is why I need Maria here, because she's supposed to chime in and help me out.
So census is everyone, population is subsection of census, and sample is subsection of population.
No, census is a collection of data from the population, so.
So it would be.
It is,
It could be heights,
Okay, so wait,
ages.
if you were to take the census, so everybody, so if you took a sample out from all of it, would it be like, for example, like all the females? Right?
Okay, so the easiest way I can explain this is to just go down to the example. Because I feel like the whole tutor training, whatever, all of that got out of my hands, and I apologize. So like right here, the instructor asked 4 students in the class to see how many took a math class last semester.
That's the census, right?
The census is to ask every single student at MSJC if they took a math class. The sample would be the 4 students that he asked, and then the population is students in the classroom. Yeah, right there.
Would you agree that statistics is just a bell curve and it's just dealing with the number 1 and everything under it, from 0 to 1? Because all the numbers I've gotten weren't over 1. Like it's always a really, really small number, 0 point something. Have you ever gotten a number over 1 in statistics?
Yeah. That, what you're talking about, 0 to 1, that is a part of statistics, but there definitely is possibilities to get over 1, like especially if you're doing a mean, standard deviation. So that, I think, is what, probability?
I think there's probability.
Yeah, the 0 to 1. You'll always have like.
No, what I'm saying is we're always dealing with the bell curve, no matter what situation we're in, whether it's skewed or, you're gonna always get a curve, that's what I'm saying, we're just dealing with a one bell curve. And everything under is one, and this is
We
what.
should get to that, let's, like, just.
If that's how you see statistics as,
Cause I see everything in graph form, so.
yeah, I see statistics as just like data and vocabulary, and because there's so much vocabulary like this, it can get very confusing.
And they do this on the first day when you're in there.
So yeah, okay, so now that we have this, so yeah, oh, thank God you're here. I was so confused for like a good minute. Oh. Okay, so any questions on this? So yeah, Arthur, you were on the right track with the whole, every single MSJC student in the classroom, and the 4 students, that's a sub-collection from the population.
Okay, I don't know if it did remember, but I did see the slide that I had, but I wasn't sure.
Let me finish my round.
I wanted to give the link.
Yeah.
Pause, real quick.
Time out. Yeah, it's saved. Okay, so I found this really cool website with the symbol sheet. Because statistics, you'll see this a lot, especially you'll see the less than, more than. But
We're actually running numbers and stuff. Oh.
right here especially, a lot of questions about in and like the X bar and all of that. But my favorite part about this is that all the letters, they go in like alphabetical order. So, especially like you see frequency, you'll see n, there's a slope of the line, which you would get from algebra because y equals mx. Yeah, so it even has the chapters and stuff. So it's really cool, and I am gonna put this in the shared training. And what I do wanna do is have us make our own worksheet that we could keep in the math side for like a handout for students to take. Because it has a lot of information. Even like with probability and your linear correlations, and then the lowercase x, x bar, the y hat, and all of that. So yeah, it goes all the way to z. But that's what I want to show you guys. Because it ties into like when we, if you guys have ever seen a statistics problem done by hand, you'll see a lot of the variables in there and you won't remember what to plug in.
What was
Come in handy.
the site for that symbols, those symbols?
What was the what?
Browser map?
We're gonna share the link later.
Yeah. But yeah, all I did was look up, actually I don't remember what I
Stat
said.
symbols?
Sure. Okay. Okay, so now we're on to statistical significance and practical significance. So what you'll also see in statistics is 0.05. That'll pop up quite a lot in more than a few chapters. So statistical significance is achieved when we get a result that has a very low probability of occurring, usually 0.05. And then practical significance is achieved when the result is worth doing what you did. So like with practical significance, as you see on your little packet, it says that a diet that only makes you lose 3 pounds in a month does not have very practical significance. But with statistical significance, if you have a, you're getting an A, and the probability was 0.04, that is significant because it's lower than 0.05. Oh yeah, that's basically what I just said. packet, it's just some of this is up here, just in case you can't find it. Any questions on the difference between statistical and practical significance? Alright, so now it's time to practice. So you can go ahead and pair up. Yeah, whoever's next to you, will partner, groups of 3, whatever.
So the people around you.
We'll just give you guys a few minutes, or just.
So just do this.
Oh, you print it like this? I think you're, oh, we're right.
So probability of like, when you said
It's like 18% chance or whatever, right?
so, when you look like this, when you said.
Yeah, like the probability of like less than.
Okay, but then that, okay. So the question just said, is it anything these rules? Don't start it.
It doesn't count.
Cause that got some nasty, some very nasty headache.
So in this case, it is statistically significant, but it's not practical because he only has a 15% chance of losing 4 pounds in 1 month. So there's an 85% chance that he's gonna not lose any at all. Why would you do
We're
that?
doing our step workshop right now.
You waste time to say you do it, things go ahead.
You're on a diet and you're like,
Give me a mic.
While they eating the whole thing.
No, I'm going over there, that's Connie's meeting. Everybody in?
We're just missing Krista.
Chris is over there too, and, call out. Call out or something? Roll call? Okay, hold on. And Renee, no. Yeah.
Alright, so how many guys are done discussing, or you have the answer?
You said the whole thing is 85%. Do we even ask the question, how would you do?
I don't know if you'll feel like, you can, if you want, so you won't be doing it alone. Okay, that's fine. How are you doing?
Good. I have to go back and read everything, because I didn't.
Yeah, okay, so, it's talking about like less than 5% chance because less than 5% to just pass it. It's the same, but it passes.
We'll just let me know.
So it's been practical.
But it's not like that much higher.
You guys doing good? Mary, is that your phone?
Yeah.
It's very hard. Great, so you're gonna have that whole snippet of me confusing your practice moves.
It's like a math.
Mary, you didn't even discover.
I need some stats.
I took it in AP in high school.
The next slide is just.
There was no stack range. It was pretty, archaic.
Okay, how about now?
Neither.
Either? I mean, like, do you guys have an answer?
Practical.
Sure.
Neither.
Okay, well, also, guys, if you get it wrong, or if you're unsure, that's totally fine. I'm not grading you guys. I mean, if you grade yourself personally, then that's personal, but, just feel free to share out. I know I didn't know any of this the first time, so.
I put that, it's statistically significant because it's like gathers data, because he only has a 15% chance of like losing weight in 1 month.
Yeah,
But overall, he has like an 85% chance of not losing any weight at all, or could go some other different direction.
statistically significant is anything less than 5%. And this is a well of 5%.
I'm so confused, okay. Okay, so,
I agree with you on that one. I put not statistically significant, because it seems like 0.15 is far bigger than.
Yeah, the weight point.
Might.
.15
I don't know
is
exactly.
bigger than .05, right?
It is correlated to
So
this,
it's not
it says a
statistically
diet that only makes you lose 8
and
pounds.
losing,
It does not have practical.
trying for losing, for your, it's not practical.
So I feel like it wouldn't have practical significance.
Well,
it's not practical
That's so neat.
I don't think so, because if
You're right.
it's worth doing, it's not worth doing it.
Is this a trick question?
Here's kind of.
No, there's actually, I mean, it's a yes, it's either yes or no, basically.
So is something that is statistically significant, does that necessarily mean it is practical as well?
No.
So what is
Wait,
the,
what? Ask
well,
your question again.
so if something is statistically significant, so if your answer is yes, it is, if it is 0.05 or less than, does that necessarily mean it is always practical?
No.
So what's the test for it to be practically significant?
So to be practically significant, it has to be worth doing. So in this case, they're using losing weight. So if you were told that you could lose 15 pounds in 1 month, is that practically significant?
Sure.
Compared to 3 or 4 pounds. This question, the instructor lost 4 pounds during the diet. Is that practically significant compared to if he could lose 15 pounds?
Well, then you
Why
can
not?
always just throw out a bigger number.
So then how would it be statistically significant? It's not.
It's not.
Oh, it's not, okay.
So like Arthur, you said that it wasn't statistically significant because it's bigger than 0.05, right?
Yes.
That's correct. It has to have a low probability of occurring. His probability was 0.15, so that's pretty high compared to 0.5. So that's why it's not statistically significant and it's not practically significant.
So it's 9.
So it
That's
was,
true.
It doesn't have to be
I
either,
asked you
right?
if it was a trick question.
It's not a trick question to me.
She's asking you, does it have statistical significance and does it have, or does it have practical significance, but she's not asking you either or.
Oh,
She's asking
okay.
you, is it practical or is it statistical?
Yeah.
I was looking at either or.
Oh, no, it's and.
But like for the practical portion of it, is that more or less based off your viewpoint of if, so let's say, I think 4 pounds is a lot for a month, rather than maybe someone else lost 8 pounds. So comparing those two numbers, would the 4 pounds be, practically significant? It wouldn't be still?
I think you're looking at like .15, right?
No, like, I don't care about the 0.15, that's still, I looked at that just for his, statistical portion of it. I guess for the practical, you kind of look at the overall experiment or overall since it's that 4 pounds a month. But I don't still kind of see how I could wrap that in my head of, yeah, 4 pounds a month is not a lot, so it would be.
Well, it's not, and they're saying that his weight fluctuates too, right? So would that also kind of make it?
So it's also like she said, and I guess you were gonna.
That's what I was gonna say, I was like, oh, cause his weight fluctuated, and at the end of the diet, he only lost 4 pounds of the last month of the diet.
So it's also because statistics is so based on data as well, it's also looking at what other information it has given you. Where they look very experienced. I'm just here. Okay, so, any questions? Cause I know that was kind of confusing. I don't know, I didn't make this packet, Mr. Mondragon did,
Oh, can we see that?
but,
I'm writing that down.
But, so what confused you guys about this problem? Was it the way it was worded, or?
I think that is
Yeah.
what confused them, cause I think they thought it either is gonna be statistical or practical, and
So that's what
two
I'm looking
different.
at. Cause it kinda seems like, is it significant or practical?
When I looked at practical too, I have a hard time grasping what is I know significant is the wrong word, but I guess what would matter. And in my mind, 4 pounds would have mattered, but I guess if it's in the context of other data that's readily available, that isn't available here, then sure, but it just, on my own, 4 pounds seemed like it would have been significant in a month.
It would have?
Yeah.
Well, this is how he would have asked
I
you
think
this
it depends on
question
the-
on a test,
Yeah, it's
so
a
he would
question
have
per
been like,
person.
okay, so this is this question, is this statistically significant? And then underneath that, is it also practical?
Yeah.
Right, like it would have been worded differently.
And
Can I elaborate a little bit more on Arthur? I thought that was a good point, like, for instance, somebody that weighs 400 pounds, losing 15 pounds in that month would be, practical, right? What if you have somebody that's like a bodybuilder and they only need to lose 2 pounds that month? That'd be practical for them as well. Maybe it depends on the context of the
Exactly, the
data,
context.
whatever else is involved.
Well, I have like a real example of like, is it practical or not? Like, so for example, I have a sister who, is trying to get like what's called like a gastric sleeve or whatever, right? And the doctors had said, you have to lose a certain amount of like, I think it was like 30 pounds before she could be eligible for the surgery. And in this case, the length of time is not clearly specified, but it says last month he lost a certain number of pounds during the diet. But then it said on the months that the diet occurred, which we don't know how many that was, and my sister's in the same thing, like there wasn't a definite time frame. And for her, if she had to lose 30 pounds total, but she only lost 4 pounds, that, I feel like that wouldn't be practical for her, because whatever she was doing, if that's whatever her diet was, is not, obviously not working for her. You know, that's just a real life correlation to it, I guess.
Right, and so I like that you guys kept throwing out the word context, because that does have a lot to do with statistics especially. With algebra, you see a lot more arithmetic where it just gives you a problem. Sometimes you'll have word problems, and even then the context is important because it gives you numbers that you need to plug in and what have you. But this one especially has to do with the context, which is why we have this lengthy discussion about is it significant or not, because based on the information it given versus if it was someone else. Or he said like versus a 400-pound person, or versus someone who is just wanting to lose a couple pounds for each month. This would be significant for them, but in his case, not significant. Any more questions before we move on? Okay, so now on to context. I was gonna have you guys do the practice of writing an example of the statistical significance, but I feel like since we had that conversation, you guys have got a little bit, unless you guys do feel like you do need the practice, we can make that. Alright.
What about this bottom one?
Yeah, so on this packet, a lot of them have practice, but depending on what it is that we're working on, we may or may not do that extra practice.
So we just take it on,
If you wanna do it, you can for later, but we already did a practice problem with the population. Okay.
I think that first page is pretty much good.
Good. Okay, so the context, it's what we were just talking about. We need to figure out the goal of the study. And then we need to have the source of data. So if I can have you guys underline or highlight or whatever, highlight reliable on the line of source of data. We're on page 2, by the way. The reason why I asked you guys to underline or highlight this is because it is the key to basically anything, not just statistics, but you'll see this a lot in writing. The teachers will, or the professors will want the students to have reliable sources, and it's pretty much with anything because you want something reliable, and it also helps yourself, because you seem more credible, because you have reliable sources. So if I could just have you guys, you can pair up, do loan, whatever. Write an example of data collection from a source you would trust, and write an example of data collection from a source that you wouldn't trust. It doesn't actually have to be like a real like www website. You could just do like something like whatever. And then I'll have you guys share it out and we can have like a little discussion about it if we want in a couple minutes. No, we can stay home. Is anyone done? So like an example, like the one that I put, or the two that I put for ones that I wouldn't trust, I wouldn't necessarily trust word of mouth. Because if Chris told me that like he saw 20 people out there riding a skateboard, that's not really reliable, no offense to Chris, but I can't have him as a reliable source unless he recorded it, and then I can have that video as proof. Or Wikipedia, because as you guys know, Wikipedia, anyone can basically edit.
I specifically, put Fox News.
Or could trust or
No,
whatever.
couldn't trust, there's no way how I trust them. But, for a majority of news sources, unless it's like, maybe something that's, like you said, caught on video that, it's irrefutable evidence, but otherwise, yeah, like, they very clearly have, most news sources very clearly have biases, so.
And what about one, a source that you would trust for data collection?
I would hope I could trust like the Census Bureau and stuff like that.
I would say I would trust, a documented statistical data, like when you're pulling the data yourself and it's spitting on the screen, or if you see some science do it, then yeah. But like you said, opinionated and Wikipedia stuff, like, you wanna stay away from it. Like, it might be true, but if there's no documentation for it, like, you're just going off word of mouth. kinda like NBA.com, you can trust that site, but like, you know, like fan websites, they might make rumors and stuff, so just go off the data. Document it.
Ben,
Ben.
I put, that I would trust, for like job growth is, BLS.gov, it's like the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And they literally collect data on like all the different types of jobs that are out there and the amount of projection and income for all the different types of jobs we have in the country, and I think they base a lot of their information off what people file in their tax returns. And then the data I wouldn't trust would probably be from like monster.com or something, even though they're like trying to get people jobs. But I feel like since they're like a capitalist type business, their really main concern is just getting people employed in general with not really a regard to, oh, is that really the kind of like right job for them?
For, what I wouldn't trust, I put pretty much anything that is like industry funded research, like tobacco funding research on, like how cigarettes will cause cancer, or McDonald's funding research on, yeah, something like that, but, for something that I would trust, so I put, pretty much any study done from like a university medical center.
Yeah, like clinical data.
Yeah, there's supposed to be unbiased, and I believe they are, so, I have them there.
So unbiased.
David?
So I kinda thought of, if I would trust a data source, if whatever their research had to do with that data. So I trust, a hospital or a college that specifically does online research, or a health college or nursing college. I would trust them if they brought data on nursing or something in that health field. I would less likely be able to trust them if they brought something on, I don't know, philosophy. I would more go to some other source that specializes in that topic. So just relating the data source to the source itself, or that data collection to that source itself. Yeah, so I go to a bakery if I wanna know about cookies, go to a pet shelter if I wanna know about adoption. Time those two together.
Anybody else? Was anybody confused about, this little example that they had to do? Or they just had like a brain fart and couldn't think of anything?
I wasn't confused, but I just wanted to add like one thing, is what I thought wouldn't be good is asking people around you that you know of what they think good jobs are. Cause you know, like I have friends that like, oh, you should just go be a welder or something, and yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
And that goes on the terms of bias, which is a big thing in statistics, especially when it comes to data collecting. So that all, like when I think of reliability, I think of, okay, so what are like characteristics of reliability? So like you said, bias, I think someone else mentioned being biased against something, but you definitely don't want some source that is only for one thing. But yeah, any questions, comments, or any more examples they wanna share? Okay. So, the rest of this page, number 2, is basically talking about the statistical process. So, if you remember in science, you would have the scientific, I think, observations, or I don't know what it's called. But, like, they have the hypothesis and.
Oh, the scientific process.
Yes.
Method, yeah,
So that's basically what this is, except for statistics. Anything that you guys want me to go over specifically on this page? Okay. So now we can move on to the next page. So if I can have you guys underline the P in parameter and the P in population. And then the S in statistic and the S in sample. much vocabulary. What I found helpful was doing things like that. Is underlining or associating a certain letter with the other word that connects with it, such as population or sample. Or sometimes I would associate it with another word that sounds similar that still relates to the whole concept of what that is. So yeah, this is, a parameter is just a numerical measurement describing a population, as for a statistic is still numerical measurement, but describing a sample. And as you see on the packet and right here on the screen, we have an example of the population, a parameter, and a statistic. This one is pretty straightforward, so like out of the population of college athletes, that's how you know it's a parameter because of the P population. And in a sample of 1,000 college students, that's a statistic. Any questions?
You want to stay here?
Huh?
I'm writing it down.
Oh, I couldn't figure out who said that.
One more time.
Okay. So then if I could just have you guys pair up, especially if you guys are kind of confused, just write two examples of, actually one example of a parameter and one example of a statistic.
So,
That's
and,
true.
some of it is pairing us, so I don't know if you would wanna sit next to somebody so you could discuss it, in case you are confused or anything. Right now, we're just, do you do statistics? Okay, then you. But right now, we're just right here, and, I asked everyone if they could get out, like, either highlighter or different color pens, because I'm asking you guys to, like, highlight or underline certain things in here. But right now, you're just writing an example of a parameter and an example of a statistic. What time are you scheduled coming? Okay.
My class was out late, so.
Oh, it's okay, we just,
No, I'm just like.
Old school, I'm gonna
Also,
put old school in.
she's not even on the list, huh?
Oh.
We were told you weren't coming today.
And they just
But,
let anybody in here.
Connie probably does.
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, we were told he wasn't coming either, so I think it just got mixed up, but we'll write you in a minute.
So I was thinking like population could be the opening and she takes up 10%. This one show the implement.
Good job.
So I just think parameters change.
Sample, population percentage of campus is there, actually 45%. Are, point